All right. As we wait for people to get in here, to get involved, participating, we're going to do this again. This is welcome everybody. This is our one first day that we're starting our new schedule at 8 a.m. PST. So please share, let other people know that we're on, as we will share with you today some enlightening information. So today we'll be just talking about the natural ways to cut down inflammation. Everybody has inflammation. So we're going to work with this together so that you'll have a great idea of how to deal with inflammation, or the pretty much why inflammation is important, to be able to reduce it, and the things that you need to do in order to reduce it. So we're talking to you on YouTube Live, the Dr. Fareed Zarif channel, along with we're also on Facebook this morning, and we're also on Instagram. So let your folks know we're going to get ready to go into it. The reason that we're sharing and the reason that we're sharing freely is because we have the opportunity to help our community. And for me, that's what it's all about. And along with everybody else that assist me in bringing to you the information that we're blessed to bring to you. Please feel free to get involved with the the comments. I'll be watching the comments as they come on. See if we can do some navigating here, and I'm sure that we can. We will definitely make the best out of this. Again, please share, ping, send some messages, tell them to get up. Dr. Zarif is on the air, and as we do this, we can get people to pay attention to their bodies. We want to turn people right back on to, we want you to be turned on to what you're here to do. We want to be able to empower you and give you what is necessary in order for you that you may grow, that we may grow. So let's go on. Let's start with a couple of things. You can today, if you haven't already, let's go ahead and check our different numbers together, okay? Starting with our blood pressure. Now, the blood pressure, again, is super important because when we have high blood pressure, it's known as hypertension. Now, hypertension is one of the key risk factors of cardiovascular diseases, and it's also the leading cause of death in women, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, which is also called the CDC. And that's why the American Heart Association recommends the regular blood pressure screening with a simple test using a cuff around your arm to measure the force of your blood through your vessels. So this is super important because we want to look for the numbers that are normal and health. The screening starts at the age of 20 years old, and the American Heart Association, it recommends that. So we've been doing great by the reading of a lot of the information, thanks to you all out there that are giving me more attention, or the subject more attention, and taking care of yourself. And taking care of yourself involves We started off with number one, and that's your heart, or I'm sorry, that's your blood pressure. And your heart is affected by that. So we want to make sure that we are getting a blood pressure is 120 or below. And that's the number to remember, which is an ideal reading for your blood pressure. You don't want this to go on and on, because whenever there's high blood pressure, whenever you have essential hypertension, you are also putting extra strain on your kidneys. Now, later on, perhaps we'll talk about the damage that you can make on your nephrons in your kidneys, and why that is dangerous. And today we'll keep it basic, and we'll just continue to share. Just keep in mind that 120 over 80 and less. You want to keep that in mind. Now, next, you want to also be able to, you can go to CVC, one of these drugstores, and you can get these different tests that are available for you to test your blood, to test your blood pressure, to test your cholesterol. You can order them on Amazon and different other different brands and different other connections. But this is very important for you to test. The next we go to, you can test your blood. Those of you that have monitors, you should pull those out right now and test your blood. Let's do it together. Let's do it while everybody's in the mood to do it, because we want to definitely get away from diabetes, pre-diabetes. Pre-diabetes, we talked about the hemoglobin A1C, and that is to give you an indication of whether or not you are pre-diabetic or you have already become diabetic. Now, this testing actually starts at the age of 35. Earlier, we said the blood pressure starts at the age of 20. This starts a little later when it comes to your blood. Now, the number there, you want to stay between 70 and 100. You don't want it to be high. You want to keep that right in there. That gives you some little room to stretch in, but it's super important that you don't continue to eat in a way that's going to keep those numbers high. You want to bring those numbers down. Again, wake up somebody, get them out of the bed, get them over here so that we can have this discussion on taking care of ourselves better. The reason that we have so many problems and you see so much resistance when it comes to taking care of ourselves, because we haven't really, through most of us, haven't had the opportunity to be in an environment that actually promotes self-love. Or, generally speaking, we don't do it because we've been distracted with other things. And when we're distracted with these other things, we don't do what it takes for us to be powerfully turned on about ourselves. And what I mean by that is paying attention to the needs of ourselves. I'm going to say hello to Yolanda Rogers. Yay. Hey, it's so great to see you. Also, Inspireman 007. I hear you, bro. That's great. I'm glad that you're here today. Please stay, involved and make some comments. We might even work it out where we'll bring a few of you up that you may contribute your thoughts, and we'll see how that goes. So welcome everybody from Facebook, welcome everybody from Instagram, and welcome everyone from YouTube Live this morning. Please share. We need to get you can subscribe on the YouTube live, and you can also follow us on the other networks such as Facebook and Instagram. But through working together, we can make all of us, we can be super successful, especially when it comes to, taking care of ourselves. Now, when you want to get the idea of how much fat is in your blood, that is another instrument or another tool that you can use to keep in check your blood fats. Now, lipid panel is a fasting blood test used to assess levels of cholesterol and triglyceride blood fats that indicate your risk for heart disease or stroke. So when you are checking how much fat is in your blood, you'll hear triglycerides, you'll hear cholesterol, you'll hear serum cholesterol, which means in the blood, and you'll get these different. Sometimes you'll get these different names, but pretty soon after you get used to it, you'll understand that many of them are just talking about the same thing. Why again you should check that blood again is so that you'll be able to tell or these know that these are markers or they're the indications of how much you're risking. Are you reducing or increasing the risk for heart disease and stroke? Now, heart disease, there's many diseases of the heart. And one of the ways that we can keep our bodies in check is simply by some of the things that we're choosing to eat. Most of the world does not eat in a vegetarian way or a vegan way or a rhythmic way. Most of the world wants to get high off of the food that they eat. Things that they eat are so delicious that they can't put it down. They can't stop eating it. They become addicted to it. And through this addiction, what they do is they overload their body with oil, with salt, with sugar. And they do this over and over. And you get caught up in it and you find out that, you know what, I'm sicker than sick. I got to do something about this. So make sure that if you haven't taken time to go to your doctors, if you haven't had time to go get the exam, make time, because if you get sick, you would have to take time. You just can't just like, I'm too busy to take care of myself. I'm too busy to drive over to wherever I have to. Get somebody to take you if you don't feel like driving. Tell them that you want to get on, or have somebody remind me to go get an exam. Write it down. Nobody can force you to do anything, but when it comes down to our blackness, when it comes down to our culture, and when it comes down to taking care of ourselves as individuals, we have a responsibility to ourselves. And being black by itself won't do it. You being black and educated, being black and wise, being black and patient, being black and knowledgeable. All of these, that's what really counts. It doesn't help that we just continue doing what we've done over all of these years. So getting more focused on yourself, that's you. I becomes before we. That means that you're going to take care of you before you get out there and save the world. We want to help everybody in the family. You want to help all your friends. You want to reach back, and all of that is relationship remorse. And after you take care of yourself first, then and only then does it make sense that you reach out to help others. The reason that I can help with the literacy of nutrition is because I am very literate in nutrition, and to the point that the cup runneth over. So I share with everything that runs over that cup with people that are interested in taking care of themselves. So we talked about the first thing, which is you're checking your blood pressure. These are different tests. The next one was the blood sugar. And then we also talked about the fat in blood. Remember the triglycerides and the cholesterol, LDL. We want to keep that low. HDL is recognized as the healthier of the two cholesterols. There's also a VLDL, and that is the very low density lipoprotein. And sometimes you'll get that on your panel. Also, you have a lipid panel. We won't go into that right now. We can always go to it later, but we want to keep on task. Next, for the females, go and get a test or an examination for a pap smear. Now, you may remember in the days when women got an annual pap smear, and this is a test which a small brush is used to remove cells from around the cervix. But better understanding of how the cervical cancer develops and improved testing for the human papilloma virus that causes this cancer mean annual screening is unnecessary every year. So now you don't have to get it every year, but you should get an examination, and then your physician or that team will tell you that you'll have to come back in a couple of years or whenever, according to what they see in that examination. But all females should get a pap smear. Pap smears can start as early as 21, about 2021, and you continue to do that with a basic screening about every 3 years until you are about 30. So from 21 to 30, this is when a female should be getting her pap smears. So it's not bad every 3 years, every couple of years. Sometimes it depends again on what your PCP or your primary care physician is asking you to do. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop here because I know that we're live, and I do want to answer and talk to you if I need to. Exactly. Let me see. Mhm. Great. Okay. Yeah, we'll just see a lot of people that are agreeing with me. And thank you very much for doing that. Yeah, please, let's get these people in here. I want to say hello to those of you. Eclipse Soleil is here. Thank you for being here. We also have Flant. I think this is Flantani Flare Raposo, something like that. But you know who you are. I really want to say thank you so much for being here. We have Miss Penny. We have some more people that are coming in. And thank you, everybody, in advance for getting people, getting them involved this morning. I'm Dr. Farid Zarif. I am the nutritionist, and you'll find that I'm much more than that as you continue to pay attention. So I am right now just going to check some information over here on my YouTube live. This is quite interesting because this is something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, along with my wonderful co-host. I think she's somewhere on these or on all of them. But I want to thank Carolyn Gento for all of her assistance, all of her help, and we did over almost 2 years at Clubhouse, and we decided to come to you now so that you'll be able to get this news and be like one of our great followers. We want you to be a part of our team, not so much the following part because that sounds like I'm talking down, but I don't mean that. I mean that I want you to become a part of our team. We got a lot of work to do, And the best way that you can help is to set the example. That's the best way that you can help in things that we're doing. Set the example, because this is what truly helps us, especially when a little girl, a little boy, a young lady, a young man finds out how to take care of themselves and how to take care of their families. If you're on Facebook, please use the comments. Put some comments down there. Give me some likes. Everybody else, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Facebook Live, or you're also on YouTube, leave some comments there so we'll know what to talk about, what you liked about, what you like about the information that you're getting. How have you helped yourself? Like Yolanda Rogers is one of the greatest examples that I can think of. She has gone through over, and we've known each other for years, and she does not stop. She has really rectified her health situation where her body now is feeling better. And not that not that I'm feeling the body. I know how the body feels. I'm just joking, but I'm just saying that as far as her performance and as far as her level of health, she has transformed herself by paying attention to what is going on with her body, and she's really making a difference by making better decisions. She's making better decisions with her body, and she's making better decisions with choosing the kind of food that she's eating. She's using making better decisions with getting rest, changing the environment. And that is like wherever you are and wherever you live, you want to take that moment to make your environment as peaceful as possible, unless you're just a person that want the opposite, because you're running the show. But we want you to be around peace, where you can also develop into the incredible individual that we are created to be. So keep that in mind. Whoa, I got people coming through here on YouTube. Yeah, it's good to see you over here on YouTube. And please leave the information, different comments. Please subscribe. Make sure that you subscribe. If there's a like there, do that, but on this YouTube, to like and subscribe is super important. And I love the message or the comments that you share with all of us. All right, good. Now let's go ahead, and I want to move on to another. After we finish the check with the pap smear, goes back to females as well as males. Females and males also can, although it's rare, but males can also get breast cancer. So guys, you can make sure when you check yourself, you feel like something in your chest feels hard, and it's not bone and muscle. It's not fat. It's not skin. It feels like there's something around there. Go immediately and get that checked out. So you can, the earlier you get there and get screened, the better it is for you. This isn't hardly going to happen. It's very rare. But again, some males do get breast cancer. So learning about a mammogram isn't feminine. It is it's not a gender specific problem. All of us should be making sure that we're okay with that. And this just involves, like pressing or compressing the breast between these plates that x-ray the images of the breast tissue that it captures. And it's fast. It's not something that you have to stay there all day. You don't have to get shots and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what the American Cancer Society says about it. It says that women should start annual screening at the age of 45. Now, these are some numbers that you should already remember. With the blood pressure, you start at 20. And with the next one was in checking your sugar. You can start that at 30. And now you have the age of 45. You can start that. They're checking out or taking these different screenings for your breast at the age of 45 years old. And this can switch to biannual mammogram at the age of 55. So instead of once a year, when you get older, like at 55 years old, you will be going every 6 months. Now, those that are 40 and 45 should have the the option to screen if they desire, according to the ACS. The ACS is the American Cancer Association. Now, if you have a family history of disease or other concerns, just talk to your team. Get a good relationship with these doctors. You know, it's not hard to approach a doctor. I don't have any problems when people ask me questions. I have a problem when people are abusive, like when they don't ask a couple of questions. They want you to unleash all of your schooling in one setting to them because they're asking you questions. And don't come to us really disturbing if you wait until you get sick and then you want to talk about health. Do this ahead of time. Proactive health care, super important. Get involved. Find out more about yourself, what makes you function, how you are functioning. All of this is very important. Your bones are getting weaker and weaker as you age, so you're taking care of yourself. If you're not exercising, especially, this is really a rough one. Osteoporosis come to mind right away. Let me get a little. Oh, good. I love this over here in the studio, and wake up, voice, wake up. The studio over in YouTube is looking really good. So YouTube Live is on and popping. That's really good. I love it. And we're looking really good on the Instagram. Let's get it together over here on Facebook, my folks. Let's do this thing. A lot of what we're doing, everybody, all of us can benefit by it. This isn't something that is just reserved for people with money or people that live in certain groups, or you're coming from a certain family or you're a certain gender. This is for everyone. Women should screen for bone weakening disease, which is osteoporosis, with a bone density test starting at the age of 65. So if you're not 65 yet, you don't have to worry about this one. You don't have to worry about any of it. Just take action on it. But until when you're at the age of 65, now you want to start taking bone density tests, because this is when osteoporosis may be a little, when people are walking around with bad posture, that little hump in the back, that's kyphosis. If they have a sway in the back, that's lordosis. And all of this can put pressure on your extremities, on your bones. Now, those with risk factors for osteoporosis such as low body weight or parental history of fractures, and you have all different types of bone stress from maybe a person has they were athletes earlier in their life, and now they feel that they can't move the way that they used to, and they feel fragile. This is really time, but that the mark is that age 65. Even if you're feeling good, still get it checked out to make sure that your bones are healthy. Super important. Another thing is to get your colon. I just had a colonoscopy last week, as a matter of fact. Now, colonoscopy isn't something to be afraid of. A colonoscopy, I'm going to put out the video. It was filmed, not the part where I was lying on my side went with the in the operating room, but I'm going to show you the other things in prep in getting ready for the colonoscopy. And colonoscopy can save your life, because the main thing that a colonoscopy is about, and that is to identify a polyp, and that's a growth on your colon that, if left alone, it can grow, and then it can spread and spread cancer. It can become cancerous. So it's very important. And when you get a colonoscopy, they go in with the camera. The doctors go in, the specialists, they find the growth, and it might be a lesion, a flat lesion, or it might be one that protrudes. But in any case, when it's located, then it can be removed so that that doesn't spread. And then before you know it, the cancer is all over your body. It's like multiple myeloma, for instance. It's all over your body, and then it is too late to be helped. So make sure that you do this early on. Make sure that you are very cautious about all the stuff that you're throwing in your body. You know what? We can't see it. So what we do is we eat it. And we figure that, hey, since I can't see it, it's not going to do me any harm. But that is not true by a long way, because it is still happening inside of your body, no matter if you can see it or not. In 2018, the American Cancer Society revised its screening guidelines to recommend that people of average risk for colon cancer have their first screen at the age of 45. So you got all of these numbers, write these numbers down so you will know, not only you, but your daughter, your son, people in your family, but make sure that you get it down for yourself. Put your mask on first, okay? And so that we can help to lower these different diseases and infections as we go along. We can do better, and we can do this through examining yourself. Or what is good for yourself to go to the examinations. I don't want to sound like you buy some kit and you do the examination yourself, but you can take your own blood pressure. You can take your own sugar levels. You can screen yourself for the cholesterol and read those numbers and know what is normally healthy and what isn't. The age was lowered because the studies of, and I'm still talking about colon cancer, the age was lowered because studies showed that incidence of colorectal cancer was increasing at alarming rates in young people. And young people have the tendency to be a little ruthless and careless because they're young and they just don't know. And most of the things that they do are based on they're based on fun. They're based on feeling good. That's the number one, is fun, feeling good and being accepted. All that's all young people are concerned with. But it's our responsibility to take our son and sit him down, take the daughter and sit them down, and say, look, we're going to get this. I want to make sure that you're okay, because these things can come back and they can haunt you as you get older. There are a number of ways to screen your colon for colon cancer, but no test is better than the other. The difference in the test is just the approach that your PCP takes, or your medical team. Some of the options, they include a stool-based test, like the highly sensitive fecal immunochemical test. It's called FIT. And or there's another one that is highly sensitive, and this is the guaiac or the GAIAC based fecal occult test. It's a small g and a FOBT. I don't think that you're gonna your doctor's gonna be calling it that, but just for your information. And this particular stool-based test is done once a year. Then there's also the multi-targeted stool DNA, and that's the mtDNA, multi-targeted stool DNA, such as a color guard. Now, this is done every 3 years. So that's another test that you can take. By the way, if you go back and you look at colorectal, or let's look at the colonoscopy, when you find something in your colon, then it doesn't mean that you're going to die. It just means that this is a concern, whether or not it is cancerous, and how to keep that in check. So there's a lot of good news, even when it's a little scary. It's always scary. It's just going to be like that until you are familiar with these tests. Don't be afraid of these tests. Make sure that you are brave. You brave up, you man up, you have to woman up and go in, or person up, and find out more about yourself. This is the whole key. Now, a colonoscopy is what I just shared with you that I had last week. And a colonoscopy is examining the entire colon. You get this once every 10 years. Now, it used to be shorter than that, 5 years, but now because the technology has improved and because we keep getting smarter, guess what? Things get a little easier. But I really want to speak to the fear that you have. Remember, is only because you don't know. And what you don't know can be scary. So know that it isn't harmful. The different things that you go through in preparation for the colonoscopy is nothing compared to having to deal with the idea of having a cancerous colon. So make sure that you move on this. Don't sit around and just think that I don't need to do that. I get to it later. TV, the networks, the social networks. Take responsibility for being healthy. And you automatically you add all of this life now. Because one of the things that you can expect when you take care of yourself is to live. And if you're taking care of yourself and you're living, you can live longer. You can live happier, you can live stronger, you can do a lot of things you did when you were younger. But when you don't take care of yourself, your body starts to break down because of neglect. It's really important. If it is important to you, I know it's important to me. Take care of your body constantly. Take time to check out yourself and remember the different ages. Now, at a very young age, we also need to have, and this is for females, but I like to involve males here too, because males should also be tested for STDs, or sexually transmitted diseases. They're also called STIs, and that's the infections, the sexually transmitted infections. So all sexually active women, or all sexually active females, that is all sexually active people with a vagina and younger, should be screened at least annually for chlamydia and gonorrhea, and additionally should be also tested for any of the, well, let me just read this verbatim. And additionally, testing should be done for all people of any age who have sex partners. Now, some people might say, well, I have a vagina, but I'm not using it with a man. That there's nothing that I'm putting inside of me. Well, have that grown conversation in a way that you know what you're doing, and you know that you know whether or not you need to go and get an examination. So be real with yourself and make that move if necessary. Now, if we're talking about like adolescents and adults, you're talking about 15 years old all the way to like 65 years old. And uh, these individuals, they should be screened for human this immunodeficiency virus. Human immunodeficiency virus. What is that? That's HIV, right? Remember, they say HIV so much, so you forget that this is the immunodeficiency virus, human immunodeficiency virus. And this is important for everybody, again, from 15 to 65. You can be screened for HIV. And most likely there's a low that's a low risk that you may not have to even worry about. It depends on your lifestyle, but go get yourself checked out anyway, because that's something that HIV test should be repeated whenever you're having sex with someone who is HIV status. They have the HIV status, meaning that they have HIV, or they're doing things, they're hanging around with people, not hanging around, but they do associate with people that this applies to. Okay. Um, okay, I want to also address smoking. There are some of you that are smoking out there, and if you're smoking, you're vaping. This is dangerous for your lungs. It's dangerous for your entire immune system, because your circulatory system to be interrupted. It also can affect your blood from absorbing the chemicals that make up the vape. So it's very important for, like, if you're a regular smoker between the ages of 50 and 80 years old, you should be checked for lung cancer once each year. So this is really important. All of this is um, information that we get from the Center of Disease Control, CDC. You'll see that name pop up a lot. So if you're asking me, where did I get this from? That's where you'll find out most of these warnings and suggestions comes from a group of people that conclude that we should get our checkups and we should get our screening on these regular basis, and how long it should take between the checkups. Check your skin. Checking your skin is super important. Regular skin checks increase the chance that you will find skin cancer earlier. So if you check your skin, you make sure, like, if there's a growth, especially if it looks funny or it hurts or something like that, sometimes it might just be some sebum in a pore, and you just need to squeeze that out, or you need a facial or something. But in the case that you have some kind of growth hanging off you, and it's red, or it looks weird, it is black, and it just looks weird, and you don't know, it's like that doesn't look normal, get it checked out. Don't sit up and mess around and, like, I'm gonna just put some wax on it, and whatever. Make sure you take the responsibility to get that checked out. All right. Okay, yeah, we're still talking about you. Oh my goodness, I want to thank all of these wonderful people. Melanated and plant-based, I want to give it up. Thanks so much for being here and being on this morning. Diamonds, thank you for being here. We have Sky Aim. Oh man, it's just really, really wonderful. Thank you all Thank you all for being here. Please make sure that you're going over to our studio on the Dr. Farid Zarif channel on YouTube and subscribe. We need your membership. We need your activity there. We need your comments. Comments on what? Comments. If you just say, I like what's going on here. I'm learning a lot. I really appreciate what you don't have to put the really in there, but you can just let people know that you appreciate the information. Let us know if it's helping you, and you thereby can help other people. It's not just helping yourself, but you can help other people. And that's what we're about over here in California, all the way to Detroit and everything in between. We want to help our people make decisions. You can be Black power, you can be I love my people, you can be African American, you can be American African, but when it comes to doing the stuff, making sure that you are being proactive, making sure that you are getting your skin checked and that you're getting your breast checked and you're getting your blood pressure checked. All of these are super important things that you can do to better yourself. Now, I want to get to the inflammation, everybody. Now, inflammation, we all have it because we all use our body. And doctors are learning that one of the best ways to reduce inflammation lies not in the medicine cabinet, but it's in your refrigerator. It's in the kitchen. And I've been talking about that for years. It is in the kitchen. So take your kitchen and you want to change that where, in other words, you open up a cabinet and you open the cabinet, you see foods or you see supplements, you see the things that you can drink or that you can eat that keeps you healthy. And that's what it should be. It shouldn't be all of this stuff on, just cans and boxes of stuff. And usually this has high sodium. It has preservatives. You think that stuff stays on the shelf for 4 months and it hasn't been treated? No, you can't. You know that. So you have to be realistic with yourself, and you can be realistic by following an anti-inflammatory meal plan. And I'm going to go over that a little bit with you so that you can fight off the inflammation for good. And this makes you this just makes you feel better. I know that you want to feel good all the time. I know I do. Even now, I mean, I had a few hours of rest because I had a long evening. I had a lot of patients yesterday, and I feel great that we're here today and we're sharing because this is work that we need to get done. Starting early so you can get off to an early start. Just imagine how this weekend is going to be empowered. I mean, you have the power, and now you're going to enjoy this weekend because you're talking about you. You're thinking about you. Now, what does an anti-inflammatory meal plan do? And your immune system becomes activated when your body recognizes anything that is foreign. So it actually seeks out, it identifies, it memorizes, and it also destroys. So those are just some of the things that the immune system does. And we need to take care of that and boost it. In other words, eat the foods and exercise. One of the best ways to boost your immune system is to exercise, to get moving, to get involved with some type of exercise. The immune system becomes activated when your body recognizes anything that should not be there, such as an invading microbe, plant pollen, or chemical. When you are allergic to something, that's your immune system working. When you're sneezing, that's your immune system working. When you start to produce more mucus, you know that sound? Well, that's your immune system at work. When your eyes start getting watery because you got something in your eye, or the wind is blowing hard, all of that is happening as a reaction to whatever you're experiencing. So all of this is very important. Let's get back to loving ourselves. Once we love ourselves, that person that's sitting right there where you're sitting, then we can move forward and we can do other things for others. But it starts with taking care of yourself. I don't think you would disagree with that, because I'm sure you have enough love in your soul that tells you that you're worthy of all the things that life has to offer. Now, when I mentioned the microbe and the plant pollen, along with other chemicals that might be airborne, that means, right there in your atmosphere, right? In the air. This often triggers a process. And this process is what we're talking about today, is inflammation. So when you have all of that, the sneezing and coughing is not over when you stop coughing. You're still inflamed. So there are some things that you can do naturally. And one of the things that you can do is you can drink, there's various teas that will help you calm your body. And that means to slow everything down and also help with some of the inflammation. Now, most of the herbs will provide the phytochemicals or the polyphenols or the nutrients to help to relax you, because that's the whole purpose of putting it in warm water, that you also get the relaxing effect from it. But intermittent bouts of the inflammation directed at truly threatening invaders protect your health. So your immune system is constantly working for you. You should think how wonderful it is to be healthy versus being unhealthy. When I don't like to catch a cold, so I'm not, definitely don't want to get anything worse than that. But a part of that is me knowing how I'm treating my body and how I'm reinforcing my security, my personal biosecurity, if you will, to protect me against invaders, to protect me against those microbes and that bacteria. Super important, makes a big difference. Sometimes the inflammation persists day in and day out, even when you are not threatened by a foreign invader. The inflammation can persist, and that's when the inflammation can become your enemy, and the immune system looks for those enemies, and the immune system will take care of those. They will destroy. Once they find out where those enemies are, they locate them. Now, many of the major diseases that plague us, including cancer, heart disease, arthritis, depression, and Alzheimer's, are all linked to chronic inflammation. See, the idea is that you don't have chronic inflammation because the chronic inflammation leads to a disease. When you go over this over and over and over, and what I mean by that is that when you allow the disease to continue to grow, because you keep negating it, you keep saying you need to go and get an exam. There's some people right now listening to me, and that will listen to me later, and this will remind them, as it will remind you, to go and get an exam, get screened. Don't wait until you have to. Do it now. It's already scary enough when you don't know the outcome, when you don't know what to expect. But I can tell you this for sure. If you don't take care of yourself, you know what you can expect. You can expect illness. You can expect disease. You can expect your health to be challenged. Now, some of us are very lucky. You haven't been to a doctor, or you haven't gotten any types of screening for years. and you've made it through and you feel great. There is a condition, and it is called asymptomatic, which means that you, or it can be idiopathic also, which means that, like you don't know what it is. And the asymptomatic means that you're not getting any of these signs. There's no way for you to even tell, or anybody else to tell. So you can actually be involved with a person or persons that don't show, or you haven't discovered any illness yet because it's not evident, it's not obvious. But if you don't know, and I know you're not going to go through all of this, some of you not, but some of you will, that you should know if there's a person that you're sharing kisses with, person that you're exchanging fluids with, you should know what that person has in their body, what they've been through in the past, and what they're doing about the certain infections or diseases. You can have sores in your mouth that no one can see. You can have different lesions in your nose, on your sexual organs. You can have different folliculitis. You can like little skin problems and you question those things. It's embarrassing. It's like, what, you got the nerve to ask me what you think I got? Well, yeah, I do have the nerve, because I'm allowing you to be close to me. And I want to make sure that when I am being close to you, that I don't have any worries that I'm going to be affected by your infections, if you have any. Hard conversation to have, but in the end, you'll be glad you did. It's better than the other way around. Make sure when you have sex, you want to be free. You don't want to be thinking, oh man, I wonder, should I do this? I wonder, should I do that? Now, there's some things that you're going to think about like that anyway. But when it comes to sex, it's really, you want to be relaxed. You want to engage fully, right? That's the thing that you want to do. But you don't want to have to be sitting back wondering the outcome. And then when you're finished, you don't like, I wonder, do I have heebie-jeebies? I wonder, did they have anything? You got to take care of yourself and take these little steps that we're talking about. I can hear you all laughing out there, as a matter of fact. Some of the foods that we can actually take to for is like the anti the foods that can help us. We go back to what we've always talked about, and that is the foods that will help us to fight off. They're the anti-inflammatory foods, like now there's some of these things that people might say that my doctor told me not to eat this and not to eat that. But let's just talk about that. The benefits of anti-inflammatory food is, on the flip side, are just the beverages and the foods that reduce inflammation, and with it, chronic disease. So when you get rid of inflammation, you also reduce the chances of chronic disease. And who wants a chronic disease? Nobody's looking for a chronic disease. So some of the things that you're eating that would be like refined carbohydrates, such as white bread, such as the pastries, especially those pastries that you find in the market, and you see the apple turnovers and the tarts and the donuts and all of those kinds of foods. Those are the foods that will wreck your system. And I'm talking about your digestive system right now, because when you don't make better choices, you will find that you will suffer from these things. Another is fried foods. Other fried foods, we love the crunch. Tastes good, doesn't it? But you have to take into account some of the foods that are uh, deleterious to your system. You want to eat foods that are healthy. And when you eat these foods that you fried, remember they can be potentially cancerous. Okay. And you want to make sure that if the fire hits the food, these again, those that burnt where you might say, oh no, that's just crispy, that can be cancerous. So keep that in mind. Soda and other sugar sweetened beverages, especially that the sizzle thing, that can be very damaging to your intestines. Now, remember, everything that I'm saying here is going to be on the Instagram. It's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be on Facebook. And I challenge everybody to study or go back and research anything that I am saying to you. Anything that I'm saying, you can go I challenge anybody that what I am saying is not only published, but is peer reviewed. It's not only peer reviewed, but it is the practice of most responsible doctors with responsible medicine habits. So, what I'm telling you are things that you can start on immediately. I'm not in a rush that I'm go and get it, go and get it, and I'll talk to you about it later. I really want you to hear these things when we're talking about it. So we talked about refined carbohydrates, we talked about French fries, and we also talked about sodas. Now red meat is next. Now Chris Rock said that he doesn't worry about red meat, but if the meat is green, then we got a problem. I know you're not going to eat any green meat, but the problem that we have with red meat, first of all, uh, it's a whole slew of problems. But I am not going to fake the funk. When it comes to meat, I have not read about anything in history, anything from any of the tribes in Africa, any information about Egypt in Egyptology, about what the Egyptians did. I haven't read any information about what the Aztec Indians did or the people in that were in the Latin countries. I haven't heard anything about the Chinese, the Koreans, and other Asians that tells me that they did not ever eat meat. As long as this earth has been populated by people, we've used animals to feed our families. And I am not saying this to promote killing of an animal. I've seen the kill room. I've seen the products. I've seen the freeze tanks. I've seen the how these animals are killed to feed the appetite of the world. And in America, all of the chickens and all of the steer, the cows and goats and all the chickens that are killed in order to answer the appetite of the population. Now, most people can easily say, oh man, that's terrible. Millions of birds and millions of cows. Now, I'm not, I don't eat meat. I don't eat animals, but I'm saying to you realistically, if we haven't already put into position these different farms and other ways that we can feed our people with just all plants, and that we can, it's just plants are that we're just getting into more alternatives like the plant milks and the plant meats and the different other types of foods that we can eat as alternatives. I don't even know that they're better than eating something that they're mocking, but I do know this, that our technology is getting better and we're getting better choices because of it. So I'm thankful for that. However, as we continue to do these things, as we continue to find out other ways to feed ourselves, to choose if we don't want to eat meat, and if your heart goes out to the point where you are protecting the life and the rights of animals, then you have that choice too. But I'm saying to you that the uh, choice of what we have, if you are not coming up with a better choice or some better ideas, stop complaining about what's in place. If you can't top it or you can't make it better, then what are you arguing about? That is just gossip and just spreading some information that talks about it. But you tell me, how are you going to serve 375 million people? What are you going to feed them? Let's talk about some of the things like our systems that allow us to feed so many people. Instead, what we do is we get caught up on things like, a this is poison for you. I heard that. Oh wow, what is this? This right here. Hey, they cloned this food, or all of these things. Yeah, it's good news. It's some stuff that you can talk about it. And when I say good news, I mean something to share, because we love gossip. I mean, woo. You see some gossip and stuff. Gossip sells. People want to stay in other people's business. But it's not because we're nosy, it's because we're ignorant to ourselves. Once you see what it takes in order to make you a viable and optimal functioning person, you won't have time to be in other people's business. But it's only the people that are not concentrating on themselves. So it reflects in the things that they do, what they drink, what they smoke, what they eat. All of these things make up that individual. And some people, all into adulthood, are still seeking attention, still under peer pressure. So how does that connect with what we're eating? Because if you're out with a group of people and you go somewhere in a restaurant and you do it one time, that's fine. You do it two times, maybe that's cool. But if those people that do it every week, and some people do it every day, then you're not really, or you couldn't be really expecting yourself to lower or to reduce the risk of disease, infection, and illness. Okay, let's go on here. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Like, we know that some of the diseases that are linked to inflammation. So again, I said some of them earlier, but I want to say it again. Here we have Alzheimer's, we have asthma, autoimmune disease, and these are the diseases where the body is attacked by its own immune system. That's called autoimmune. And these include rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, and lupus. Now, other diseases would be, as far as the chronic uh, uh, inflammation, would be also cancer. It can lead to cancer. Can lead to chronic obstructive lung disease. You've heard that as COPD. And that includes emphysema. Those are some of the respiratory diseases, emphysema and bronchitis. Those are some scary diseases. I know that they're just words to some of you right now, but when people say that it felt like a truck was sitting on my lungs, now most people will think about, oh, that's not possible. That's too heavy or something. But when you have these chronic diseases that include the obstructive lung disease, when you can't breathe, When you can't, when you go through, you start to panic because you can't get enough air in your lungs. You can't exhale fully. When you know that there's only air coming through your nose and your mouth. Now, emphysema is, I know how this feels because I've experienced this when I went through, caught something from one of the band players, one of the guys in the band, and it was horrible. Of course, I got rid of that, but I couldn't breathe, and that's the scariest, you know what, in the world. So when you think about it and you can't breathe, and I'm like, where else can I get air from? Your nose and your mouth. That's it, baby. You won't be breathing like I breathe through my ears. It's really something that you should take care of. And I don't wish this on anyone, but when you get it, you'll see exactly what I mean, because people that really enjoy their lives are the people that have been so close to death, people that have been super sick, people that have been under, like general anesthesia, people that come back. It feels like they come back after it feels like they've been gone and dead, and they come back like they've been in a coma, for instance. And a coma, this is something that and none of us want. This is not party time. These are some of the things that we go through when we're sick. I want to stop for a minute and say thank you again to all of, wow, got a lot of comments here. It looks really, really good. Let's like the live stream and share. Thank you very much. That is correcto. Sky Aim Productions. Thank you very much. Over here, get Yolanda Rogers. I'm diabetic and free 5 years now, and turning 65 in February. That's the same day I think she's Aquarian too. And she's proud. She says she's proud of her age and she's enjoying the full ride. Y'all need to get this book, Slaves of the Tongue. It's a great read, and he breaks it down. Thank you so much, Yolanda. Sister is just incredible. I don't have any books with me right now, but I have them stored. And those of you that want books, just go to drzarif.com. You can get your book. We don't have a whole lot left. We do have some books left because I use this for emergencies. I don't ever want to be said, this is the only one left and it's mine. I want you to get it. And Yolanda is absolutely right. You find out more information. I know that there's a lot of charismatic people out there. They talk about nutrition. They talk about health. They talk about wealth and so forth. God bless them, as it were. But I am about doing stuff, getting off of my buns and getting it done. And I challenge you to do the same thing. If you've been talking about stuff and you haven't gotten it done yet, you start right now, right where you are, and you get it done. Other diseases that inflammation can lead to are depression and heart disease, inflammatory bowel disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. So a person that is a large person can have daily inflammation, and this inflammation can lead to other diseases. So this is no joke. This is just diseases. Whoa. Yeah, thank you very much. Somebody just sent me some hearts. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really am having a ball with this because this is something that's going to really help you. I want you to, these are some things, I'm just going to go through them right fast because I know we're over an hour now, which is okay. It's okay. I'm going to be here for you, and I just want you to get these things down. Let me go over this with you. What all of these different diseases have in common is that uh, uh, they often can be prevented. All of these: obesity, type 2 diabetes, inflammatory bowel disease, heart disease, depression, and so on. They what they have in common is that they can be prevented. So prevention is a huge part of taking care of yourself. This is huge. This information is something that you can constantly um, refer to when you're thinking about how important you are and how worthy you are. 60% of all chronic diseases could be prevented by people if you only ate healthier. Just eating healthier will help turn up, and you will definitely see a difference because you have more food that help boost your immune system, and the food that help regulate your bowel movements and that'll give you energy. It's just as simple as that. Pay attention to pay attention to proteins. Now, the proteins that I'm talking about here are the proteins from plants, like your beans and your whole grains, your nuts, your um, all the food that you even dried fruit. All of these are wonderful sources of protein. Your levels of inflammation will be lower by eating these plant proteins. Again, the beans, the whole grains, the nuts. Um, what else? I think I already said the grains, but all the plant protein and also the plant oils. Those are called phytosterols that you get from plants. These are all helpful. Now, if you were say that I'm a man, I'm a meat man, or I'm a meat woman, and meat and potatoes is my thing, then even if you do eat the red meat, it is best to eat the grass-fed meat or the wild game rather than the grain-fed beef. So the grass-fed beef is better than the grain-fed beef. When you think about the grain, think about all the stuff they mix into that. Remember mad cow disease? They had grains and then they had parts of a pig, so chopped up pork all the way through it. That was so unnatural to the cows that they actually caused the disease, and they had to bury many cows and other animals too. Eat more fiber is super important because the fiber is a form of a carbohydrate that lowers inflammation. You got to make sure that you read the labels. The different groups suggest different daily amounts, but you need to do the following. Um, the following things to read your labels and make sure that you're eating um, the fiber that you're getting from the apples. Don't peel the apple. Eat the apple with the peel. Eat the kiwi with the peel. Eat the potatoes with the peel, and you will get more fiber. You can also get fiber from other things like pectin and like apple pectin and pear pectin. Um, this is different groups suggest different daily amounts. A woman between 19 and 50 years old, 25 grams of fiber a day. Men between the ages of 19 and 50, 38 grams of fiber a day. Women over 50 years old, 21 grams of fiber daily. And men over 50 years old, 30 grams daily. All of these are speaking to the good sources of fiber that include the whole grains like oatmeal. You also can eat nuts, a variety of nuts, preferably raw nuts, not the roasted nuts, because roasted nuts, especially if you eat a significant amount, can cause more inflammation. Also include in that the nuts and the berries, the beans, the vegetables, the brown rice, and guess what? Even popcorn. Popcorn is a source of fiber. Now, potato skins have a lot of fiber. If you don't really eat much fiber, increase your intake of these particular foods that I just mentioned, and you will slowly avoid some of the bowel discomfort. And that's when you strain, and that can cause hemorrhoids. And those hemorrhoids, again, can be, if they're not taken care of, they can lead to bigger problems. I'm just going to go through a couple more things, and we've been talking to you from the YouTube channel, Dr. Fareed Zarif, the nutritionist. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist, and I'm bringing you some information today. We're talking about the reduction of inflammation naturally. And again, remember, the healthiest place in your house is the what? The kitchen. When people come and visit, have you ever been to a party where everybody was just meeting in the bathroom or meeting in a bedroom? Or, I know there's parties like that, but for the most part, most of your parties are what? Most people are meeting in the kitchen. This is where you're healthy. This is where you eat. This is where things taste good, smells good. You got people happy and moving. You're eating the foods that you like. And that's so important. Eat your vegetables and your fruits. So the fruit that you're eating and the vegetables you eat are a huge part of you staying healthy. Now, I know a lot of people say you need to eat vegetables and you need to eat fruit. And these are the fruit that you shouldn't eat. And this is the fruit that, do you know we cannot even afford to be talking about what not to eat? Because most of us, for the most part, are living below the poverty level. And you have about, like 81 people on this planet that's as rich as everybody on this planet. They don't worry about what they're eating. And you have some people that figure they got it all, they have it all figured out with eating, and that's good. If they got a shelter or something, or they have a farm and they're supplying their a family with the food. But it's more than that. If you have a farm and you have enough on your farm to feed people, and we got in a terrible situation that you've never seen in your life before, where people are hungry, they know that they can get food from going out in these rural areas and where farms are, and they can pluck right from the ground and eat some lettuce or whatever they're growing. Well, who's going to protect you against them? And even if you do say, well, I have a gun, you're going to shoot somebody over eating some lettuce. So, these are things we don't think about. But if it should happen, don't run to 7-Eleven. So let's go on with the eating of the fruit and vegetables. Like when it comes to ideas for healthier eating more fruit and vegetables is usually at the top of the list. Now, in addition to their many other benefits, vegetables and fruits reduce inflammation, period. Vegetables and fruit reduce inflammation. So if you haven't, and I mean eat it, don't put it in a smoothie and make your little sugar drink. Make sure that you take about 3 fruit at the most. These fruits can be peach, apple, banana. Put it into your blender. Add a little coconut milk, or your choice of plant-based. I like the plant-based. I think you should learn how to make your own too. You can make it out. You can make your own cashew milk. You can make your own soy milk. You can do that, but we'll talk about that later. The idea is that you don't want everything that you do, you want that you buy it and it's ready to go. You sometimes it's really worth it to make your own stuff, and it's much more nutrient dense than the food that you would just simply just buy over the shelf and stuff that's already packed. So make sure that you have make sure that you have the kind of food that will boost what your body already does, and that's to protect you. Okay, make sure that you do that. Okay, now if you are enjoying the program, remember, please write put a thumbs up, or tell me that you're enjoying this information. Tell me that you're understanding the anti-inflammatory food. Tell me that you're getting something out of this so that I can continue. And those people that are supporting me, we can all continue, because one of the things that, no matter how aware we become of our blackness, if we are sick and we are aware of our blackness, it's still not going to do us any good. There are many people that are brilliant. They own huge amounts of acreage and homes, have huge money, but if they're not well, if they are not healthy, then they're not going to be able to take advantage of this rich life that they have. When you are rich and you are healthy and you're wise, that's the combination. Rich, being wealthy, being healthy, and wisdom. This is super important. A lot of times a fool and his money are separated. They part. Oh, Sky Aim Production says, great information, Dr. Zarif. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Also, Sky Aim Production says, true, especially in hot dogs. It's made from the leftover of animal parts. That is true. Like hot dogs are made from scraps. Guess what? Your lunch meats that you eat are all made from scraps, like liverwurst or whatever. I think it's liverwurst. So I don't eat it. I don't eat it. I don't need it. Salami, bologna, pastrami, all of those are made through scraps. Sausages. If you see what they throw together to make a sausage, and then like you have potted meat, Vienna sausages, all of that stuff, I would say to you, if you're still eating this food that is actually made for people that are desperate and poor, this is food that you should not be putting in your body unless you just have no choices. But to go to a supermarket and to buy it and to eat it, having the choice to choose something healthier, is insanity. When it comes to berries and cherries, they're especially good options. And fruit juice is not usually a good choice because of the high amounts of sugar, and they also have low fiber. Keep that in mind. A lot of you that are making these smoothies are getting addicted to the sugar. You're overdoing it, and you're not getting the kind of fiber that's needed in order to help your body to maintain its regulated bowel movements, to keep your stool soft, to get rid of the waste. All of this stuff we all do, and we can actually do better as we continue to choose ways to keep our bodies healthy. Now, you got a lot of people, they're attractive and they get a lot of attention. Girl, you so fine. Damn. You have guys that are handsome. They get a lot of attention. Guy, he's so fine. Right? But it doesn't, if you have a colon that's falling out your behind, or you can't urinate, or you can't digest, or your waist you can't move or evacuate your body. If you have these kinds of problems, then you are sick. You might look attractive, but attraction is not going to help you get out of this situation. You have to make better choices, healthier choices. So let's stop the nonsense and make the choice to eat. We're going to continue coming to you every Saturday at 8 a.m. on Facebook, on YouTube Live. We're going live, like we're live now on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on Instagram. We want your grandma to hear this. We want your granddaddy to hear this. We want your children to hear this. And we want their children to hear this. We have generations after us. We're not going to be here forever. Just imagine if you could help as many people in your family as possible by showing them what? Your example. They're not going to listen to you if you're just laying in the bed every time they come to visit. They're not going to listen to you if you just stay on the phone for 2 hours talking about somebody else's business. They're not going to listen to you if you're sick and that you're talking about, uh-oh, here comes the cough. Here comes the cold season. I always get it when it comes. Always get it. Don't you know whether or not, if you acknowledge that it does or it doesn't, you're right. Because this right here is something that we're not talking about a lot right now, but this has so much to do with the outcome of your health and how you are expressed in this life physically. I'm going to go through a couple of more, and then I'm going to let you get into this wonderful Saturday, okay? One is to use more anti-inflammatory herbs and spices. Now, in 2012, a study found that some of the best anti-inflammatory spices to eat in order, in this particular order, or paprika. These are all anti-inflammatory. So if you use paprika, you use that. Some people use it for various things, for flavoring, sprinkling over a salad, or making different dressings and so forth. But paprika, rosemary, ginger. You know how much I love ginger. I love ginger, and I'm not even Jamaican. I love ginger. I love ginger. And turmeric is really great. You know, curcumin is in, or makes up the turmeric. And the curcumin, when it comes to you thinking about things like cancer, and you're thinking about pain, and you're thinking about all these other things, look at all of the things that are addressed by turmeric. Really excellent. Turmeric, not turmeric, turmeric. T-U-R, turmeric. Sage is another anti-inflammatory spice that you should be using. I have what is called crushed sage, and I use that in my bean soups. I use that in my vegetable casseroles. I use that in many of the foods that I eat. And there's another wonderful spice, and it is called cumin. Now, cumin is like, if you cannot make the world's best chili without using cumin. Cumin is just actually wonderful. An early study looked at over chemical properties of spices and found that cloves and ground Jamaican allspice, cinnamon, sage, marjoram, and tarragon are all also great choices. So my spice rack is huge, because I know when I'm preparing my food, the taste of that food, the more it tastes like nature, the more it tastes good like those spices, the better it is. And these are some of the spices you may not have, but if all you're using is salt and pepper, you need to go ahead and spread that list out a bit, don't you think? Lastly, I'll talk about your trans fats, and I'm going to go into some oils for you so you would know, because I think out of my experience, many people are frying foods, they're sauteing foods, they're searing foods, but they just do it in the same oil. And when it comes to oil, we need to talk about those smoke points, okay? So sit back for a minute. I'm going to go over this and get it done for you. We just keep on going, everybody. This is really important. First of all, we want you to avoid trans fats. That's when you have that high fire, you have that the smoke point, maybe a high smoke point or a low smoke point, but it's so hot that it starts to destroy that oil. Now, trans fats, which are added to foods to increase their shelf life, like the partial hydrogenated oil. You will read it like that, and you're like, what the heck is that? Well, a partial hydrogenated oil, they, instead of food going bad, they can stay on the shelf and appear to be fresh during that time on the shelf. So shelf life is huge when it comes to food and shopping and selling and the timing of the food, like bread, for instance, and other goods on the shelf. Now, avoid these foods by reading the label. When you come across something like partially hydrogenated oil, you don't want to put that in your body. The foods that often have trans fats, they include those baked goods, your cakes and your frozen pizza, your cookies, and your fried foods also. Your fried foods, deep fries like fries, your fried chicken, your fried steak, your anything that's fried. And fried means that it's been cooked at high temperatures in oil, a lot of oil. Now, I'm not talking about sauteed. That's what they don't use a lot of oil for sauteed, but just enough oil as they're turning it in the wok or the pan. And I'm getting hungry talking about some food. I'll let you go in a minute because I just had a little bit of kiwi. Fiji. I can tell that I rush when I make those kind of mistakes. But anyway, let's go ahead. Limited saturated fats. This is really important because most, not all, saturated fats also promote inflammation. Now, one of the saturated fats that we know that do not promote inflammation, and it might be two, but I know that the extra virgin coconut oil is one of the oils now that's not promoted as a inflammation causing oil. And it is saturated, but it is also a oil that does not, like at room temperature, like which is 74, is either soft or it's liquid. And now you have other saturated fats that are very crude, and they just simply they stay solid at room temperature. And we will go into that later. But these fats, they mostly come from animal sources such as lamb and pork and mutton and chicken and turkey and all of these things, including some of the dairy products like milk, cheese, cream, butter, ice cream. These are all of the things that you can be concerned about. Now, if you eat meat, a good general rule is to eat white meats, fish, and other seafood. Now, I don't know what's happening with, what's happening in the water. I know that eventually over years it starts to clean itself, but I don't think it's clean yet. I think that it's still polluted for the most part. And some of the fish that we eat, if we're not eating from the coldest regions, we can be eating those foods, and those foods can be very deleterious. Betty Smoots is in the house. Hey, how you doing? Miss Betty, is really good to see you. Delicious smelling spices. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It is so great to see you. I haven't seen my friend in a long time, but I know that you also have a lot of attention on eating healthy foods, and you look great. I haven't seen you in years, but I bet you still take care of yourself, and I'm really, really thankful that you're here. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm really glad that you're enjoying the information. When it comes to this, again, the fats that promote inflammation and all of the meats that we eat, that promotes inflammation. The dairy products, they promote inflammation. Do you know that you can get many of these things in a plant form? So you can have a plant-based, the plant-based foods means that you're eating a lot of plants. It doesn't mean that if you are a plant-based, a person that is a plant-based whole food eater, that you're not eating meat, like chicken and shrimp and all that. It just means that the premise of which you get your energy, your nutrients from, is mostly plants. Okay, so I just wanted to clear that up. And humans, when you use like carnivore and omnivore, these are usually names that are used for wild animals. You know, like if you like are a vegetarian or herbivore, you know, they're interchangeable, I guess, at times. But if there's, say, like she's a carnivore, you know, is really nasty, is rude, and please don't do that. You embarrass people and make them feel very defensive about that. I'm going to go into the omega 6s and omega 3s. This is something that that's essential because we cannot make the omega 3s and we cannot make the omega 6s. So what do we have to do? We have to get them from the essential fatty acids called the EFAs. Because of the time, I'm not going to go all the way through that, but I can tell you to eat the monosaturated fats. And these are also they're also mono unsaturated. So you have mono unsaturated fats that one of these oils, for instance, would be your olive oil. That's a mono unsaturated fat. One oil and is unsaturated, which means that it does not it does not solidify at room temperature. Whenever you see olive oil is what is liquid. Now, sometimes you can see a coconut oil and it is solid. It's on usually because the supermarkets have the AC is up and it's chilly in there to keep everybody alert and keep everybody cool. And you'll see that the coconut is solidified. That's because, again, the properties of the saturated fat is different than the unsaturated. However, the information that we get on coconut oil, which is so good for your hair, your skin, your entire body, and plus you can eat it. You know, you can make salad dressings out of it and so forth. I'm going to get down to one of the things that again, so that you'll keep in mind what you can do to increase these things. Here's some things to increase your fruits and vegetables, which are your berries and cherries, your peppers, your orange and yellow sweet potatoes, and your pineapples, yellow pepper, squash, peaches, dark green leafy greens, broccoli, your cabbage, green beans, Brussels sprouts. Write them down if I'm missing something that you're not eating already. Your blue, purple, and black berries, blue, purple, and black berries, your grapes, your eggplant, your olives, your plums, your purple cabbage. Now, you notice I said purple in a lot because in that we have, like, a lot of us have, like, for instance, there's steel bean resveratrol, which is one of the polyphenols or the nutrients that we find in the food that we eat. You also can have catechins, terpenes. All of these are different riches of the vitamins and minerals you put in your body. Again, don't even exercise the thought that I am not worthy of these foods. You are absolutely worthy of these foods. You're here to do a work. And in order for you to also reap the benefits, to enjoy the fruit of your labor, you want to be healthy. And healthy doesn't mean that you can do 15 push-ups in a row or you can do some pull-ups. That is called fitness. You are fit. And some people are just born with that. They got the right length of their arm. They have the right length of their legs. They can bench press heavy stuff. They can do different types of planks for 10 minutes. You know, all of that. That's called fitness. And does it count? Yes, it does. But you can be fit and unhealthy. Case in point, look how many young brothers and some sisters but mostly the young brothers have fallen out as athletes. Remember, I won't mention anything about the family name because I'm not here to do that. But these different people, and they're well known because they reported to us. But they fall out, they faint, they have heart problems, respiratory problems because they're fit. They look good, shooting the ball, throwing the ball, rolling the ball, whatever they're doing as far as their athleticism is concerned, but they are not healthy. And when you look good, some just people are just born asymmetrically sound, great chest and cut arms and cut stomach, a lot of definition there, and long legs and cut thighs. Oh man, what a specimen. But when it comes to being healthy, that's a whole different thing. So like I see the older brothers that get down and give me 35 real fast. That's wonderful. But if that's not coupled with eating, like for instance, you have a wonderful woman that is in our community, and her name is Chef Babette. Chef Babette is incredible. This sister is 70 something years old. She does the exercise and she's a vegan. So she lives the life. She lives the life. So she's getting the food, and I'm sure she's getting enough sleep, and she's getting also the exercise. And she's an exercise maniac. Incredible. And that's what I really love about her. And I want to talk about her to let you know that she's a wonderful example. And I wish for her to be around for as long as she wants to be around, because she takes care of her body. She doesn't look, and she isn't like the average 70 something year old. She is so pumped up. She's brilliant. She's a savvy woman. She knows she can cook you right out the kitchen. She's incredible, lovely. Her personality is incredible. Go and check her out over at Stuff I Eat in Inglewood. Yeah, I'm promoting her because she is a wonderful individual, and her husband is the same. He's a hard-working man over there. Go over and meet these people. We also need to support some of the areas like we have right in Compton. We have now black owned, I believe is in Compton, black owned markets. We need to visit those markets. Also support your the people that are have the farm, the what is that? The farmers markets. The farmers markets are very important too. Those are hard working people. Now, some of them lying. Some of them people, you look at their fingernails. A farmer usually has some dirt in those fingernails, believe me. And they also have boxes up under that comes from that farm. But if somebody is just going and they're buying a lot of fruit and vegetables from somebody and putting them under a table, and then they're displaying it like they grew it, ask them, did you grow this on your farm yourself? Where does it come from? And you will find somebody that's faking a farm. I don't think that is that important, uh, because I think you can still use the food, but it's just sometimes people just are not transparent, and they'll go and just support the farmers, support the farmers, and this way they can keep bringing us food, and they're very kind people and very knowledgeable. Fiber, protein, herbs and spices, omega 3s, monounsaturated fats, desserts and snacks like dark chocolate. If you eat dark chocolate, you got to have at least 70% of cocoa, 70% and up of cocoa, and now you're looking good. You can get the healthy benefits from it. So keep that in mind too. I'm going to go over here. I got a lot of messages here. Let me see if I can see this. What types of drinks do you suggest to limit inflammation? The types of drinks that you can drink as far as reducing the inflammation would be your adding the whole leaf aloe vera juice. Whole leaf aloe vera juice, adding this to your vegetable drinks. Doesn't make the uh, fruit juice tastes so good, but you can also add it to the juices that you drink. So I don't like to, I know what it is to drink too much fruit juice. That's why you hear a little hesitancy and people do overdo it. And some people put everything in the juice and there's too much stuff there. Just to keep it simple, you don't need one of those smoothies with 18 things in it, plus nuts and raisins and some coconut. You know, that's too much. So, an answer to your question is that you can use whole leaf aloe vera juice. You can also use gelled aloe vera. I like whole leaf. Read up on whole leaf aloe vera juice and you'll see what I mean, especially anybody that's dealing with cancer. This is, you'll be surprised at some of the benefits that have been found in whole leaf aloe vera juice. Other things that you can drink chlorophyll. Take water and then add about maybe a half a teaspoon of chlorophyll. The water, you can drink about maybe 4 ounces and you sip that down. You do that like every other day. Man, you're going to really see the difference in not only the inflammation, like the soreness, if you have any soreness, but it retards or it disallows, it prohibits the spreading of inflammation. It's really important, great for your digestive system and your gut health. And your gut health, that's real. I know, I don't care if you out there listening to me. I know you are probably clapping right now because that's one of the things that you remind me of constantly, and that's to talk about the uh, benefits of chlorophyll. Incredible. We can do a whole session on that. So that's really important. Now let me just go over the oils for you, and then we're out of here. Okay, I just got to do this. I know we're coming up on 2 hours, but that's okay. If it's okay with you, it's okay with me. Thank you for those of you that's been here with me since 8 a.m. I really appreciate that. Make sure that you're spreading the news, that you're also becoming, you want to subscribe. Every time that we on here, make sure you ring that bell so that we will notify you every time we're up, because we want to get our community, our Black community, we want so much attention that people are going to say, hey man, is it a fire? What's going on over there? And it happens with you telling one person, that one person is going to tell 2 people, that 2 people are going to continue, and we're going to finally start saving people. We're saving people's lives as we're speaking, because everybody doesn't report what's happening to them, because a lot of embarrassment comes with sickness. A lot of embarrassment comes with the things that you do that keep you unhealthy, but you are only as sick as your deepest secret. So keep that in mind. You can email me. I will definitely either guide you or help you personally with your things. Get in. If you're not exercising, start doing it. You don't have to hire a person like me. Yeah, I'm going to charge you my life, my time, my hours, my knowledge. And that's most people. You're not going to find people to say, hook me up. I want you to spend your hours for me. Nah, that doesn't make any sense. So make sure that you take on the responsibility for yourself. Stop bullshanking yourself, and make sure that you are making the decisions that help you to feel better, that help you to look better, that help you to perform better. You know, believe me, it feels good. I love the process of aging, not because it's like some people are, man, I'm getting old. You hear that story. We ain't as young as we used to be. Stay away from me. I don't want to hear that stuff. I want to continue to think as I want to be. Very important. Now, we were just talking about olive oil earlier, and it's real simple to that, how they make olive oil. The olives are only needed to be crushed, and the resulting oil is filtered and ready for use. But the best oil to get, ready for this, is called cold pressed oils. And the cold pressed oils are not made like these other oils. They extrapolate the oil by using heat, and then the heat comes out. But usually, because they're using heat, they're also destroying some of the nutrients that our body can't make itself. So the oleic, the linoleic, and the linolenic acids, these are EFAs, essential fatty acids. So take that, write that down, and remember that when you're buying these products that are on the shelf, guess what? These oils are refined. Now, the refining, the oil gets treated with phosphoric acid, separating any gums from the oil. The oil also has to be treated with this caustic soda, which removes free fatty acids, and it gives you the free fatty acids that could give the oil this saponin consistency, which is soapy. The saponins, that for those of you that are herbalists, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But before we had soaps, we use herbs and we use plants that made a soapy substance, and that's how we would wash ourselves. This how we would clean ourselves. Before all the bubbles and all that stuff. Another process that they use with the oils is called bleaching. Now, bleaching, after refinement, the oil is heated and is mixed with filter aids that serve to absorb any colors and impurities in the oil. These add-ins are removed after they've done their jobs, because they want you to look at the oil and it wants to look like pure one consistency. You don't want it dividing and one bottle of oil is darker than the other. So there's a process. They all have to be uniform. That's why you have a lot of the cartons, because a lot of times with some of the milk doesn't look the same. If it separates, people are most likely not going to buy it. So you see a lot of drinks that they're covered with solid paper, so you don't see it. If you see it, some people will just shake it up and say, okay, I'm cool. But other people say, that's not fresh. Another process is deodorization. Deodorization of oil. And I'm not talking about essential oils. I'm talking about cooking oils now. I'm talking about the oils that we also use for drizzling. The oil is in deodorizing, the oil is heated to 480 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, beneath a all of this is done beneath a vacuum. This process produces steam bubbles, and these steam bubbles are removed. They remove any of the remaining free fatty acids and impurities. So your free fatty acids are super important. That's just like if you remove amino acids, if you take lysine and methionine and isolysine, and if you take the phenylalanine and all of these from the food, then you are missing some of the major components. So when you look at something oil that has been refined and bleached and deodorized, once the deodorizing is complete, that oil then is ready to be packaged. But it's been through those things. So a lot of things that you see on the shelf, it ain't what it says, even if it says fresh and all that other stuff on the label. Be diligent. Sometimes it tells you enough that you get a good idea of what you're putting in your body. But if you love yourself, and you should, you should know that having certain things in your body can make the difference between a healthy you and a potentially sick you. Now I'm going to do this, and we out of here. I said I want to tell you about smoke points. This is something that's very important, ladies and gentlemen, because this will tell you for the rest of your life how to select oils. If you're cooking in the oil, if you're sauteing in the oil, or if you're searing in the oil, if you're baking, all of this will make sense in a second here. So I'm going to just give you like a little overview of the smoke oil or the smoke points of the oils. Now, the smoke point of oils will always vary based on their manufacturing, their makeup, and their natural or refined quality. Okay. All natural oils are made from a blend of refined and unrefined oil for higher quality. The smoke points of our oils, they may be slightly different than these common smoke points. However, I'm going to give you enough information that you can make your own decision of which one you're going to use for yourself. The very thing I'm going to start off with is coconut oil, because I love the use of coconut oil. We just talked about how saturated it is, but also how healthy it is and what it does at room temperature. Coconut oil smoke point is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And this means that it starts to smoke at 350 degrees. That's why they call it smoke points. Now, 350 degrees is ideal for sauteing and baking. Keep that in mind. Olive oil, the smoking point is 325 to 375 degrees. Why is there 325 to 370? Because there's different types of olives and they make different types of oils. Therefore, they produce various smoke points. Now, olive oil, again, 325 to 375 degrees is good for sauteing, is good for drizzling, like that when you drop it on like your salad dressing, drizzling over finished dishes. If a finished dish or a kickshaw would be what you like to eat, your meal, your dish, and also making is great for making salad dressings. So you can make it's really wonderful for making salad dressing. Coconut oil, you see that how that crosses over 350, ideal for sauteing and baking. Both of them are. Now, when we look at some of the common stuff that we use, and most people commonly use corn oil. Now, corn oil, smoking point is 400 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and is ideal for high heat frying. So when it gets up there and it gets super hot, this is when you use corn oil, because it will become steady even before 450 degrees. And what I mean by steady, when the food or the oil gets really hot, it starts to shimmer. And then after that, that's when it starts to smoke. So that's the smoking point. Corn oil is for deep frying. I suggest not to deep fry. Now, I know it's not real to some people to even hear that, but I suggest not to deep fry, because again, you're making trans fats when you're deep frying. When you're making trans fats when you're deep frying, you are making potentially you're making a food that potentially can be cancerous. Don't want to do that, and that's why I keep repeating that over and over. But I know fried chicken, fried shrimp, and other fried meats and animal products, those are all many of those are fried. people fry pretty much everything. And that frying, along with the food that they're eating, can be deleterious to the human body. Canola oil is next. Now we'll go later on, we'll talk about the ones that you shouldn't be eating at all and why. But canola oil, 375 to 450 degrees, which is also good for high heat purposes like deep frying. Like when you put in, when people have all that oil in the skillet and then they take the battered chicken and they drop it in, and that just all of that chicken is absorbing that fat. So when you're crunching it, although they put it on a plate and let it drain the fat off, there's still so much oil in that deep fried chicken that's why people end up with all kinds of problems with obesity, gallstones, on and on. Next, we have grapeseed oil. You get an idea now, I bet. The grapeseed. So I want you to think about which one is best for you to have in your home. Grapeseed oil is about 420 degrees Fahrenheit and is good for sauteing and stir frying. So, if those of you that like Asian food, this is their fire is about 420 degrees, not super hot, but hot enough for sauteing and stir frying, which means that it's not in a vat of grease. It's just, it has oil that may be squirted right there in the whatever, the pan, the wok, and then used to make the food. Now, the thing that I want you to keep in mind is that I'm smart enough to know that everybody isn't going to abide by these smoke points. But if it's not for you, then I am not talking to you. I want to help people that want to be helped. We move on to soybean oil. Now, this can go all the way up to 75 degrees, starting about 450 to 475 degrees. And this is ideal, again, for high heat stir frying, Then you have sunflower oil. Now, sunflower oil would seem like it's sunflower, but it can take up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is good for deep frying. Some people do their deep frying in sunflower oil. It's good for also stir frying, grilling, and other high heat purposes. You don't want fire to touch your meat, because when you do, then you cause this burnt skin. And if you eat the burnt skin, again, you're increasing your risk for cancer. All right, now I'm going to get out of here because I like to eat in every 2 hours. So I'm going to have me a little something. Right now, I'm going to put some water in my body. Excuse me. Delicious. Next, I want to talk to you about flaxseed oil. Now, flaxseed is one of the best anti-inflammatories on the planet. Now, about 225 degrees Fahrenheit is best for drizzling, is best for salad dressings and blending in smoothies. So you see that it's not, you do not cook or do any deep frying with flaxseed oil. Why? First of all, it's going to be smoking like crazy. It's going to, when it smokes, it does what? Forms trans fats. Trans fats are then what? Potentially cancerous. So that's why we're talking about this. Avocado oil. If you have avocado oil can take a big punch. Almost, it's hotter than the smoke point of safflower oil, which is 520 degrees Fahrenheit. It's great for searing, like you seared salmon, you saw that before, seared tuna, stir frying, grilling, roasting, and almost any kind of cooking. Avocado oil. Now, if avocado oil smokes at 520, that means if you're doing something like your stir frying and using the avocado oil as stir frying at a lower temperature, then you're going to get more nutrients out of that avocado oil. Peanut oil is used mostly in these restaurants and is used for deep frying. It's used for sauteing and stir frying. Peanut oil is also known to be stable for a long time, which means that instead of people getting rid of or refreshing their oil when they're talking about commercially now, when instead of changing that oil, they end up with oil that they use over and over. And that can be a problem. Nobody wants to eat dirty oil because then it's toxic. 450 degrees is great for deep frying, sauteing, and stir frying. Then you have walnut. You got two more: walnut oil and sesame seed oil. The walnut oil is another one that's pretty much like flaxseed oil, except it can go a little higher, 320. But this is great for making salad dressings and drizzles, drizzling over the salads and over the food. Like you will see drizzles like when especially a chef takes it and go over the food, and maybe a design that makes it look all fancy and stuff. And lastly, the sesame seed oil. Now you would say seeds, maybe that's really a lower temperature, but you can go all the way up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a lot of times you might be baking something that high. But this is good for moderate heat cooking. And moderate heat cooking is like sauteing and stir frying. So it's good for that too, sesame seed oil. So there you have it. Next time we'll go over some of the flavor profiles. We'll go over refined and unrefined processing. We did a little bit of that today, and then some health considerations. Maybe it'll be good to consider that the different oils have different nutrients as a part of their makeups. So when you're making various dishes, being aware of the nutritional values of each oil, it helps you to understand that the impact that it has on your health. Oils do contain fats, but mainly those fats that are considered healthy, like unsaturated fats and omegas, which promote heart health, are generally considered a healthier than butter and lard. If you're still eating lard, well, I just simply say you should stop right away. If you can afford it, you can afford it because it's cheap and you can buy it still at these supermarkets, but you don't want to increase your risk for cardiovascular diseases, atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis, and all these other different types of diseases that you can get. And we just want to reduce those chances. Okay. All right. I'm going to see if there's any questions that I can answer. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. That was fun. And as you see, I loved every second of it. Wow. Here's some really good stuff. Oh, good. Great. Yeah, we have Nurse Ref. I just call you Fatima because that's easy. Fatima is here. Thank you very much, Fatima. I'm glad to see that you are here. Long time no see. Tell the family I said hello. The children are probably huge now, but I'm glad to see you here. Thank you very much, Dr. Zahari, for seeing back in LA. Yeah. I'm on vacation. Oh, very good. I want put down for me where you're calling from and where you're writing from. And everybody, as a matter of fact, please go to the comments and let me know where you are, what city you're reaching out from, so that we'll know what people are being reached. Okay, really appreciate that. And everybody over here, like it's the same thing goes for everybody. Please let me know where what city you're reaching out from. Okay. Wow, we have more. Let me see. So flaxseed oil isn't good, or it is good. Okay. I would just tell you that Flaxseed oil is good, but flaxseed oil shouldn't be used to fry in. Okay, flaxseed oil shouldn't be used for deep and very hot fire. So flaxseed oil is a good choice for making your own salad dressings. Flaxseed oil is good for using it in maybe a if you're going to do anything, you'll do like a stir fry, but not anything that's going to be hot because it'll very hot. The temperature should be down. I think that temperature was the highest temperature on flaxseed oil was 225 degrees Fahrenheit. So flaxseed oil, to answer to your question, is good, and yes, you should eat it. But again, remember, flaxseed oil is best for just drizzling, as we talked about, salad dressing, and blending drinks. Like if you have, for instance, a drink and you wanted to add some nutrients to it, you add that flaxseed oil to it because the flaxseed oil actually helps to reduce inflammation. So when you put that in, and that's just, I'm glad that you mentioned this because everybody, if you're putting stuff in your smoothie, putting everything, make sure that you're putting stuff in there that's going to help you with situations with your gut health. You know, like you're replenishing it. If you've gotten a colonic or a colema, or if you had a colonoscopy, these are things that you want to replenish because the prep for that, a lot of the good things are going to, or the good, um, the nutrients and some of the properties are going to be lost because of the prep process. Okay, great. What else do we have to talk about in here? Okay, let's see. Thanks for the sharing of the Bon appetit. Okay, all right, Betty. I hear you. Um, Great. We got a lot of good news on here. Good, good, good. Any questions for me? Any questions? Great point, Yolanda. Oh, thank you. Knowing your numbers. Yeah, yeah. Remember that. I forgot all about that. We've been gone so long. But I wanted everybody, I just want you to come away from here using stuff, the stuff that I'm giving you, use this. Use this stuff. Just now you know that if you have coconut oil in your kitchen, that's ideal for sauteing and for baking. I am not suggesting anybody to do deep or deep frying or high heat frying. But if you do, use corn oil to do it on, use canola oil to do it in, use grapeseed oil to do your frying in. If you're going to do that, I know everybody's not going to listen to me and then say, hey, I'm going to do exactly what he said. That's not going to happen. But I do know that I'm giving you some good choices. Okay, what we have over here, flaxseed. Okay. Oh, good, California. Thank you. Thank you. Jasmine Delaney, thank you so much for being here. It's really great, and thank you for your questions and concerns. Let's get a lot of people in here. Everybody, like, wow, Delaney, this is really good. Long time no see. Thank you. Oh, you more than welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. Blackface, welcome. Got Blackface in the house. We're going to work on we want to bring everybody up starting next week. We want to start, if some of you want to come up, so we're going to bring you up in your own square, and we'll just we're going to work on that so that we can get you up here. And let me just see if I can open that. Good. Okay. All right. So we got a little work to do. We're going to just make sure that we can bring you up so that we can hear you and we have the conversations. Look, this is going to be the hottest presentation out there when it comes to nutrition. I want you to be nutritiously, or I want to say it like nutrition literate. So nutrition literacy is super important. We don't have the right information. We continue to propagate the wrong information. Therefore, we continue to repeat the illnesses that we experience. We want to bring that stuff all to a halt. And that's why I am here. And that's why I am going to contribute my time to your days and your evenings and your information so that you may be the healthiest you that you've ever been. So I really appreciate you all. Thank you very much. I think I answered everything here. Really appreciate you. Oh, watch it. Oh, Fatima is all the way. We got Fatima is the first. That's great. We all the way in India today. So we got India. We have Cincinnati. We have Chicago. We have Detroit, Michigan, LA. We have LA. We have, oh, good. That's where we're. Thank you very much, everybody, for spreading the news, and thank you for coming out. Please stay in contact. Please stay in contact. I mean, this is just like we got to treat each other like family so that we can help each other get stronger. Okay, spread the news, and really appreciate you. And we're going to continue moving forward and doing the things that are important to us to keep us as healthy as possible. Oh, good. Amira is here. Let me see my little sweetie. Even my daughter is here, and my daughter is sounding really good lately because she's been saying some really wonderful things about how you can, eat some alternative ways. I'm really proud of her, and I know she's keeping her family healthy, and that is all beautiful, all to the good, as they say. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. I'm Dr. Zarif. I am the nutritionist, and I will see you next week. Remember, reach out and get in touch with me, and also leave your messages. Your comments are very important, especially on our new channel, the Dr. Farid Zarif channel on YouTube. We want to hear what you have to say over here on Facebook and what you have to say over here on Instagram. Your points of view is very important to all of us, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. And remember that it's all up to you. Thank you very much. Peace.